Hello guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel where I talked about educative things and I pass information on things happening in the UK. If this is your first time here, my name is Dr. Nikki, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel and also hit the notification bell so that you can get notified whenever I upload any new video. In this video, I'll be talking about maternity and paternity leave as an international student in the UK. This will cover various aspects from when to inform the school of your pregnancy, 2. Whom to inform when you're pregnant, 3. Your pregnancy journey as an international student, delivery and time off as a mom, and finally, how you can extend your maternity leave as an international student. I will encourage you to watch this video from the beginning to the end so that you can get all the necessary information that is required. Expectant mother, or you're planning to get pregnant, or you're even planning to come to the UK to study and you're already pregnant, how you could go about this as a student. If you've discovered that you're pregnant, congratulations. And if you're planning to get pregnant as an international student, I congratulate you in advance. When you discover that you're pregnant as an international student, the first step is to inform your personal tutor. That is, if you have one. If you don't have a personal tutor, then you could inform your course leader based on your program that you're doing if you're on a master program. But if you're a PhD student, you have to inform your supervisor. And this has to be done as soon as you find out that you're pregnant. And if you're pregnant before you arrive into the UK to start your study, immediately you settle down, you need to inform your course leader that you're pregnant. And if you're a PhD student, you also need to inform your supervisor as soon as you settle down to let them know that you're pregnant. There are different reasons why you need to inform them that you're pregnant, because as an international student, you're obliged to attend every class, and you'll also be having assignment deadline. And there are different things that can come up during this pregnancy journey. You want to go and see your midwife for an appointment, you might have scan appointment, which might be the same time as your lecture. If you've not informed your personal tutor or your course leader, you might find out that being absent in a class might give you a threat to your visa, because when you're not attending class regularly or you are missing on classes, your visa status might then be under threat. As the university has the authority to tell the Home Office that you're not obliging to the rules of the international student, which include attending classes. And informing your tutor or supervisor, depending on which case, whether you're a master student or a PhD student, will also give you the leverage. For example, if you have an assignment that has a deadline and you can't meet up, maybe due to some health challenges or due to some hospital appointment, then you can't receive an extension on your assignment. So if there is a deadline for an assignment, you can actually be given 2 weeks extra for you to submit an assignment. This does not only apply as an expectant mom, as an international student, it also applies to the dad-to-be as well. So if your wife is pregnant and you're studying in the UK as well, you need to let your personal tutor or your supervisor know, so that if you need to be in appointment with her to miss some classes, this will be notified on your record and you'll not be penalized for this. You notifying your school, how does this affect your pregnancy journey as an international student? I've passed through this stage almost 7 years ago, so I'm talking out of experience to be able to encourage other moms to be. So during your pregnancy journey, there are different things that will be expected of you, from hospital appointment, from scan, from midwife appointment, from head visitors appointment. So informing the school earlier on will help them to be able to put into consideration different things to help you throughout your pregnancy journey. And don't hide your pregnancy and be like, no, I don't want them to know maybe until after I'm 3 months pregnant. When I'm in my second trimester, that's when I want the school to know. Although nobody will penalize you as far as you're meeting up with your assignments and you're coming to class regularly and your appointment is not interfering with your class attendance. But the issue might arise if you're a science student or an engineering student and you need to go to the lab. There are different things they need to put in plan for you throughout your pregnancy journey. For example, I was an international student when I was pregnant as well, and I have to be in the lab as a PhD student. There are different risk assessment that needs to be assigned based on my experiment in the lab, because there might be some chemicals that you might have to work with that might be a risk to unborn child. Maybe it could cause spontaneous miscarriages or it could lead to child defects. You don't want to hide this, because if you hide it and any issue arises along your pregnancy and then they discover, it's not going to be on the university, it's going to be on you, because you've not actually informed anybody. But if you've informed your tutor, your supervisor, they will put things into consideration, maybe to avoid you from participating in some experiments, or maybe gives you a substitute for some chemicals that you could use for your experiment. And also, not just only for your experiment, they will also consider those that you'll be working with in the lab as well, because some people might also be using some chemicals that might have effect on your pregnancy, and then they might have to look at the time strain for you to come into the lab to do your work. And if you're on your project, for example, a master's student, and you're on your dissertation period, and then you're meant to be in the lab for your dissertation might be reviewed in order to give you a topic that will actually suit you during your pregnancy. So nobody's going to penalize you. Everything is just for your own safety and that of the unborn child. So you don't have to keep this to yourself. You don't have to hide this and be like, no, I'm not informing anybody. Another important thing during this pregnancy journey is that you need to inform your supervisor or your personal tutor about your EDD, because this will help them to plan ahead for you in case your EDD happens to be around your examination period or maybe some assignment deadline. Then they can be able to put this into consideration and give you some time off, in order for you not to be stressed in thinking about your pregnancy, your delivery, and then thinking about assignment that is at hand. So they might give you time off to be able to have your baby and then come back to do your assignment. There's not any policy that will not support you. In fact, pregnancy is one of the protected character in the UK. So being pregnant, nobody will discriminate against you if you're pregnant. Even though if you're 8 months pregnant before you start your program, nobody will discriminate against you. I haven't talked about this pregnancy journey as an international student, or what you need to know. The most shocking part of it is, as an international student, you don't have a long time off after you have your baby. The only time off you're given as a mom during your study as an international student is just 2 weeks off. Whether you're a master's student or you're a PhD student, you're given just 2 weeks off. And this does not depend on the mode of delivery, whether you deliver naturally or deliver through section. Both is at 2 weeks off. After the 2 weeks, they expect you to be back in class, to attend class, to start your study back. If you're a PhD student, to continue with your research. Although there might be some support that will be given to you along the line, but you're only given 2 weeks off. I know during my time, like, I was expecting that maybe they'll be like, oh, it's 3 months at least. And they told me that if I want that amount of time off as an international student, they will have to tell the home office and cancel my visa. Then I have to go back to my country. And when I think I'm all right to continue with my studies, then I can reapply back and then they will issue me another cast. I was like, I'll have to pay another visa fee, pay another extra charge. Then I said, oh no, I'm not the first person to have a child while studying, and I won't be the last. All you need is support around you, mix with people that you know, ask for help, ask for support whenever you need it, and people are more than willing to help you and support you here in the UK. It doesn't depend on your background or where you're from, the country you're from. As far as when you need help, you ask, and then you definitely get help. And finally, how can you extend your maternity leave or paternity leave as an international student? Basically, if you're already pregnant before you start your course, this might be a bit difficult because it depends on when your EDD is. So if your EDD happens to fall towards the Christmas time, maybe you had your baby 2 weeks before Christmas, then that means you had the 2 weeks off for Christmas break, that uni is closed, so you have a month off. And another way you could have more than 2 weeks off is if you have your baby towards the Easter period. That is when the school is also closed, and then maybe you have it 2 weeks before the Easter break, and so you can have additional 2 weeks, making it 1 month. So in that way you have more time to recover and get into routine with your baby, and then plan to come back to study. But if you're pregnant before you start your course and your EDD happens to be during the normal school opening time, that means you have to just take the 2 weeks off, and then you'll be back to your studies. And if you're a master's student and you're planning like, oh, I want to have a baby while I'm studying, another advice I could give to you is that if you want to have a baby while you're studying, planning, look at your school calendar, because there are some people that start their program in September, some start in January, so your finishing time will differ. So if you look at it, that when could it be when I'll be doing my dissertation, so you could plan your pregnancy that, okay, by the time I'll be giving birth, it will be during my dissertation, which means you don't have to be in uni every time, and then that will give you more time to spend and adjust to your new routine as a mom in the UK. For PhD students, the advantage that PhD students have over master students is that when you have your baby after the 2 weeks, you can actually take your 30 days annual leave and then add the 30 days annual leave to your 2 weeks, which will give you around 1.5 months to be able to come into routine and then be able to think of how you're going to navigate things with your baby. I know it's very difficult having a baby in the UK, and as an international student, when you don't even have families around and you hardly have a crèche around in the UK that will take a baby that is less than 6 months, so it's kind of difficult. Work out who do you leave your baby with while you go back to studies, and that's why all of this thing needs to be put into consideration with your partner in order for you to work it out together on how to return back to your study after having your baby. You don't have to wait till when the 2 weeks is over, because you have your baby and that's it. And upon delivery, another important thing you need to note is that your 2 weeks maternity or paternity leave starts on the day your child is born. Part of the list of those that you need to inform on the day you have your baby is your school. You need to inform whether your supervisor or your personal tutor. And in the case of PhD students, it's not only about you informing the supervisor alone. You need to carry along the postgraduate administrative for your school as well. If you're in sciences, you need to carry along your PGR admin for sciences. If you're in business, you need to carry along the PGR admin for business. If you're in education, so depending on the school where you are, you need to carry along your PGR admin for them to be able to put your account on hold, like, okay, your maternity leave, and your attendance will no longer be flagging up that you're not taking record of attendance in the uni. So you need to let them know. So it should be part of the list that you put out when you actually have your baby. How I was able to extend mine for almost 3 months was I had my baby in October. After completing my 2 weeks maternity leave, I then take on my annual leave as a PhD student, which then take me up to December, and then the school closes in December for Christmas break, and then I have to resume back in January. So at times, planning your pregnancy as an international student in order to suit you and for you to be able to have more time in planning on returning back to your study while also setting to the new routine is actually important. This has brought me to the end of my video for today. If you think my video has helped you on how to navigate and plan your pregnancy as an international student, please don't forget to give this video a like and also subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching to the end.